morning, everybody, and welcome to Ather's 4th Community Day. Thank you for making time over this, what's luckily turned out to be a great weekend. No rains. I was really worried about those all the way till last night. You know, we started community meetups before Ather ever had a community. We love telling stories. So all the way back in 2016, like literally with our first prototype, we started calling customers to come, catch up with us. Come meet us so, that we could tell them about what is it that this cool thing we are trying to build at Ather right here in Bengaluru. These small catch-ups kept getting larger. They went from, 30 people to 50 people to 70 people. Eventually, we started having actual owners. So these events became 100, 200, 300 people, and eventually became what's now has become the annual community meetup every year. This has gone beyond just being a launch day for us. In fact, this was never really meant to be the launch day. This is the event where we get to bring our community behind the scenes. We really get to show them what kind of tech, what kind of product we are building, how we've thought through all these tiny experiences, right? From really simple things, but really well-thought experiences like reverse, live location sharing, storage organizer, to the really complex experiences backed by really, really evolved technology like auto hold, magic twist, and traction control. Last year, we launched a whole bunch of features at the Community Day 2025, from Infinite Cruise, Theft Safe Suite, pothole alerts, remote control, cricket on dash. A lot of them were launched. And many of these features over a period of time have become incredibly valuable to our entire community. Many of these features have, Yes. Let me just walk through a few of these features, that we launched last year and whose usage has become incredibly valuable. Starting with our safety feature called Crash Alerts. Crash Alerts was launched last year as part of AtherStack 7, and it went live in around March, April this year. In just the last 3-4 months, Crash Alerts has detected a staggering 2,900 crashes across our entire fleet. Lakhs of Athers across the country. Crash Alerts has been able to detect significant serious crashes across the country. And it has not only been able to detect, as we demoed last year, it has been able to raise an emergency alarm. It has been able to alert your family members, sending SOS, sending automatic calls to your emergency contacts immediately. Like this example here of Avanish. Avanish is one of our customers from Hyderabad who rides a 450. And a few months back, he was involved in a significant accident where it was not just one of those falls. He actually lost consciousness for a few minutes. But even before he could figure out what was happening, his Ather was able to detect that he was in a significant crash. It was able to send out an automatic alert and live location sharing to his family members, his sister in this case. And even before he could figure out what was happening, his family was already on its way. This has been one of our most important safety features that we have launched. Thank you. There was another very important and viral feature that we launched last year. I'm sure all of you know about it. Pothole plus alerts. Using the data that we have from our entire fleet built over the last almost 8 years, we've been trying to map out our city roads across the countries. And we used all that data to try and figure out where our roads are, where they need improvement and where they have already done quite well. This feature also went live a couple of months ago. The user experience of this has been very, very cool. Typically in Google Maps, you get 2 route options, the shortest road and the fastest road. But now, with Pothole Plus Alerts, you get the 3rd option of the smoothest road to take to office. This feature is already live, so our community here already has hopefully experienced this feature. Not just selecting the fastest route, it also alerts you to bumpy roads, really poorly designed real poorly designed speed breakers, all the potholes on a road. And this is the kind of feature that plays a tremendous role in nighttime driving with waterlogged roads. Since it went live a couple of months ago, it has also enjoyed a lot of customer love, a lot of great feedback on social media for this feature. What's made all of this possible has been connectivity. With 7.5 lakh connected scooters on our roads, we've gotten a lot of understanding about how vehicles ride. We've gotten a really good understanding about how our vehicles ride, how our cities are, how our infrastructure is. And we've used all that data to answer one very important question about our cities. Are city stereotypes actually true? Right? So let's start with possibly the most stereotyped city in our country and our national capital, New Delhi. New Delhi, we all know the image. Big, wide avenues, massive, nice roads, big boulevards. And honestly, Delhi lives up to the reputation. Delhi is the city in India where people cruise the most. That's the city where our infinite cruise feature is used hands down the most across the country. This is the city that cruises the most. It is also the city that crashes the most. Right? Let's go west. Let's go to Mumbai. Mumbai's traffic is legendary. We all know that. You know, there have been enough movies about this. People stuck forever, not being able to move. But you know, there's an upside to all of this. You know, what does not move, it can't fall. Because Mumbai records the fewest crashes and fall-safe alerts across the entire country. Mumbai is also the city with the most amount of contradictory things that happen. It's a city of contrasts. So to make that point, a few years ago, when we were developing the Pothole Plus alerts, we started wondering, maybe we should do a competition of all the MG roads in the country. Because amazingly, we have too many MG roads. Like most large cities have an MG road across the country, right? So we started doing it, and Mumbai gets both the awards. The MG road in South Mumbai, the one that I think people call Fashion Street, that's the best MG road in the country, hands down, #1 there. But also, the MG road in Ghatkopar is absolutely one of the worst MG roads in the country, right? Mumbai continues to be the city of contrast, and it continues to show in our data also. Let's go east. Let's go towards Calcutta. You know, Calcutta is a nice, vibrant, loud, very active place. I'm running out of politically correct ways to say this. Calcutta is a really, really loud city, guys. This is the city that absolutely records the most amount of horn usage in the entire country. And it's not even close. You know, most of these statistics, city #1, city #2, there'll be like 3, 4, 5% delta, right? For horn usage, city #2 is at 82 horns per day per customer. That itself is staggering. Imagine somebody pressing a horn 82 times every day. But Calcutta wins this hands down, because Calcutta is not like 5, 10% better. Calcutta wins this race with 137 horns per day per customer. Amazing. I think we really need to celebrate this out. You know, so for any of our customers who are from Calcutta here, take a bow. Let's come down south towards Namma Bengaluru, right? Oops. I really wanted to say, you know, Bangalore breaks the stereotype. Bangalore is the lovely city. You know, we don't have a problem. Unfortunately, in this part, we live up to the reputation. Of all the large cities, Bangalore records the highest amount of potholes in a large city in India. I'm not sure that's worth celebrating. But there is something worth celebrating, you know, because we are seeing improvement. In the last 3 months, all the white topping we have done has made MG Road Bengaluru as one of the best MG roads in the country, right? And it's also probably why we record one of the least slippages across the country in Bengaluru. Now, so that's all the fun part. That's all the data story there. You know, all this has been possible because of Ather Stack, you know, something we've been building over so many years. And last year, we launched Ather Stack 7 with a significant number of new features, a lot of improvements, a lot of enhancements. But we have more. This year, we are launching an upgrade to Ather Stack 7 with even more features, even more launches. So let me just play a quick video that will walk you through all of those new features.
Take me to my yoga class. Can you hear me now?
Thank you. You can tell it that this is the Ather community because the highest amount of applause till now was for dark theme on Rista. I am sorry, this took such a long time, but we are so happy that finally Rista gets the dark theme. In fact, there are four very cool features going live this time. Dark theme on Rista, smart destinations. Smart destinations is very simple. When you start your scooter in the morning, the scooter kind of guesses that you probably want to go to office. It starts the navigation automatically. When you want to come back from office in the evening, it figures out that where else will you go? It's likely home back or maybe the gym. So smart destination is a really cool feature that's going live with this upgrade. Followed by flyover alerts, pretty self-explanatory. And finally, WhatsApp call controls. We realized that most of our communication has moved on to WhatsApp. It just becomes standard to say, can't hear you, call me on WhatsApp. So we are going live with WhatsApp call controls as part of this upgrade. All these features will go live as part of Ather Stack 7 over the next few months. Last year, we also launched a bunch of other features which have turned out to be quite valuable overall. Features around safety, features around convenience. Sorry, just a clicker issue. Folks, can you check? Thanks. Oh, we've gone ahead. Yeah, anyways. Last, we launched a bunch of these features. For example, features like lock safe. Sorry. Hey, can you guys just flash that screen then? I'm not able to from here. Okay, so 4 features overall. I think it was lock safe. It was about park safe, ping my scooter. These features have turned out to be quite helpful, quite useful for all our customers. And we're going live with them across our entire fleet. So 450 crash alerts, remote control, ping my scooter, and lock safe. These 4 features we are now making backward compatible to all our customers on Rista S and 450S. These will come as a Thank you. These will come as an OTA update over the next few months also as part of the overall Ather Stack 7 upgrade. Let's go on. Let's move on further. Yeah. Now, all of these features we could build, all of these OTAs we can do, all of these upgrades are backward compatible because of connectivity. And connectivity is, one of those old architectural bets that we took at Ather almost a decade ago. In fact, at Ather, we have done that many times over. Connectivity, battery, charging, electric powertrain, these are kind of things where we have taken engineering bets almost 10 years ago. These are the kind of bets where you can't see the benefit quickly. It takes some time, right? You have to work along with this tech for a while. Initially, the benefit might seem small. For example, when we had connectivity on the first generation scooters, it didn't give us much. It only gave us basic navigation that ran on a 3G connectivity, and it gave us a simple Bluetooth. We barely had features to do with Bluetooth. But you have to stay with it. You have to keep investing, and which is what we did, because eventually, over a period of several years, those features kept evolving, and today have become features like call control, pothole alerts, voice on your Ather, live location sharing, theft and tow detection, features that you don't need a science degree to really understand, right? Like features that can truly be used by all our families. And this is the story of every single architectural bet. Invest years in advance, stay with the tech, whether it's connectivity or things like on battery or things like on charging, and similarly on electric powertrain. In fact, electric powertrain is very interesting because we are going to have a few updates on that also today. Initially, we invested in technologies like Ather Drive Controller and the magic braking algorithm. I am sure most of you probably don't even know what is magic braking algorithm. We launched it with Apex 3-4 years ago. Initially, it gave us very little advantage, but we stayed with it, and eventually, those technologies have today given us auto hold, skid control, infinite cruise, and magic twist. And today, we're going to launch another series of upgrades using that technology stack. Now, this is what we have done for many years now. Invest at the start and stay with it. And this is why we've been able to push the EV industry forward. And that's brought us here forward, fast forward to 2026. But now the question has changed. See, many years ago when we started Ather, the question was a little different. At that point, people were skeptical about EV. So the questions used to be, is electric fun? Is electric real? Will it have power? Will it work, right? So we answered with a lot of different kind of features. Today in 2026, the question that customers are asking has changed. These are more mainstream buyers. And their questions look something like this. How will I charge my scooter? Can I charge it in the building? How safe are my batteries? How long will they last? How will I sell my vehicle? How will I get it serviced? And this is what we're realizing, that for the next phase of Ather, we need to answer more fundamental questions in our industry. And that's what this entire community day today, the entire keynote today will focus on. We'll try and answer all these questions over the course of the next hour. Let's start with the first big question that everybody would have while buying an electric. The question around charging. Ather's invested in fast charging in almost a legendary fashion. We were one of those first insane companies that set up its public fast chargers before we even had scooters to sell, all the way back in 2018. And we have stayed with it. Today, our fast charging network has grown massively. We have got 6,000 public fast chargers across the country. We've also taken care of home charging. We have, thank you. We also have taken care of home charging with, portable chargers, duo chargers, a lot of different solutions there. But again, these are old questions. The first generation of customers asked the question of, what if I get stranded? I have range anxiety. The new generation of customers are facing a different question. And I'm sure, particularly for our owners here in Bengaluru, which has such a high electrification rate, the question no longer is, will I get stranded? You probably won't get stranded. The question increasingly is, I have too many people in my building that now have an electric vehicle. How do we charge in my building, right? And that's the question we want to answer, because that's become a really important one. Today, for most apartment complexes, with even the more progressive RWAs, they will look at, all these people who are buying an electric car, electric scooter, and they will say, what, we need to think of the future. We need to set up charging points. And they will typically take, something like this, these 4 car parks. This is typically the guest parking, and they will make it common electric vehicle parking, right? Standard behavior in most good apartment complexes. This seems great, right? Finally, we have 4, 5, 6 common chargers in the building, until you zoom out and realize that this is a building with 100 houses. This building has 200 car parks and 200 two-wheeler parkings out there. 4 chargers out of 400 vehicles absolutely does not cut it. It's actually pointless to have this kind of common charging. This was a good solution when we had this 1 or 2 maverick people in the building who bought an EV. Today, everybody's buying an EV. The solution that we really need is, how do we electrify every parking space? Not just 1, 2, 3, 4 chargers, but every single parking space. That's a very big problem statement. It's honestly very ambitious. How do we go from, something like this to this, all car parks being electric? And what is the big challenge with it? Well, the challenge really starts first with how your building is set up. What is the electrical layout of your building? Let's just take a hypothetical building. Imagine a building with about 100 houses. A builder in a building, in a situation like this, will typically reserve 150 units, 150 kilowatt of electricity for common spaces, lifts, gyms, lightings, all that stuff. Then every house gets about 5 kilowatt. 100 houses is 500 kilowatts. Right? And typically, good builders will leave a safety buffer on top of this. That will typically look something like about another 150 kilowatts. Right? 150 kilowatts, 500 kilowatts, 150 kilowatts, 800 kilowatts overall. And this number is important because this number is a hard number. This number cannot be easily broken. Why? Because when that building got built, somebody looked at this number and sized the transformer. Right? Your building transformer is set for 800 kilowatts. So you can't easily increase buildings' access to electricity beyond this. I'm going slowly with it because this is a problem that even took us some time to figure out. Now, what happens when you all start buying electric vehicles? You buy an electric car and you will suddenly say, oh, I have a 5 kilowatt connection. That's not good enough. I need to upgrade it. Right? So you will go to Bestcom and you will request a 12 kilowatt upgrade, and in a month, or maybe faster, you will get the 12 kilowatt upgrade. And one house will go from 5 to 12, another will go from 5 to 12. It'll cost you roughly about 30,000 rupees, and it'll cost you roughly about 16,000 rupees per year to have access to higher power. But what's happening is, and this is the part that most people haven't understood, you're not getting actually more power. That extra power that you got provisioned is still coming from that same safety buffer that your builder originally provisioned. What that means is, if 10 houses in this society decide to go from 5 to 12 kilowatts, that an extra 70 kilowatt, you've already consumed half of the building safety buffer. That means 20 houses deciding to upgrade because they've got an EV will eat into the entire safety buffer, right? In this hypothetical building example, if everybody wanted to upgrade to 12 kilowatt because they were all going to be riding electric scooters and cars in the future, the building will need not 150 kilowatts ka buffer, the building will need 1200 kilowatts, right? So 800 kilowatts is not going to cut it. And why is that 1200 kilowatt not possible? To go to 1200 kilowatts from 800 kilowatts, you will have to spend 50 lakh rupees to upgrade your transformer. And you will have to pay as a building 16 lakhs extra per year for the convenience of the bigger transformer. Imagine in that society, if you are the 21st house owner and you want to upgrade your electricity supply. Imagine going to the RW and saying, guys, it's a great idea. I have bought an electric car. Why don't you spend 50 lakh rupees upgrading our building's transformer, right? Imagine how that conversation will go, right? It's not going to go well, right? Honestly, it took us also a long time to figure out because this is a new problem. We still haven't, we have just started hitting some places where people, like 10, 15, 20 houses have upgraded their electricity supply. And all of us are running headlong into this problem. This is a genuine infrastructure problem. And yes, selfishly, all of us should upgrade our houses, but realistically, we are probably already too late. The building's already not having enough safety buffer. How do you solve this problem? Because the problem really here is that we have finite access to power in our buildings. And if everybody is going electric, we're kind of stuck. This is a problem that we want to solve with our new product today. This is a technology problem first at its core, before it becomes an infrastructure problem. And to solve this, here is a new product, which we're calling as Ather Node. Ather Node, thank you. Ather Node is smart infrastructure. It goes inside every single car park, every single two-wheeler park in your building, across the entire building. So 100, 200, 300, it can scale across the length and breadth of your parking space. So you don't need to just, electrify 4 car parks. You can set up Ather nodes across the entire building. All of that is controlled by a central brain, which we call the Ather node gateway. Think of that as like some sort of a processor. It's connected to all these charge points that we will set up. And this central node does the job of ensuring that you don't have to pull a cable from your house, because that's very expensive. You don't have to take power from your meter. Using buildings' common electricity supply, using buildings' common load, this takes care of balancing, this takes care of safety, and this ensures that without needing to upgrade the transformer, we ultimately get what we need, which is waking up to a fully charged EV every day, right? It's doing 4 or 5 things incredibly well. It's doing automatic queuing. It's doing smart load management. It's obviously very cost effective. It does customized billing. So every house owner will get a separate bill, and the RW need not figure out somebody sitting with the register and making note of how many units you've consumed. It does all of that as a central system in the building. We tried this many years in the past. Around 2023, we had built a product called Ather Neighborhood Charging, but that solution was only workable for common charging points, 3, 4, 5 charge points in the entire building. What we realized very quickly is that if every parking spot has to be electrified, we need an infrastructure solution. And that's what Ather Node is. And this is not just a plan. We are already going live with it. In December, we are going live with 6 cities, starting with Namma Bengaluru and starting with our first partner, Total Environment in town. And one can imagine that, we are a product company. How seriously are we going to chase an infrastructure problem? And it is a real worry. It's very hard as a product company to truly scale and chase an infrastructure problem, which is why we are opening partnerships across the country. We want to electrify the lakhs and lakhs of apartment complexes across the length and breadth of a country. So we are opening this up to builders, to RWAs, and electrical contractors in all cities. If you can help us take Ather node to apartment complexes in your building. We want to hear from you. We are inviting applications. Please go check out our website for further details. Yeah? That's Ather node. Let's move forward. Let's move to the next topic that a lot of new AV owners probably worry about, and are always thinking about, which is batteries. We've been very lucky. Over the last several years, Ather batteries have built a tremendous reputation as batteries that have been built to last, batteries that work flawlessly and are really, really solid products. The reason we can pull this off is because we have started with customized cells. These cells have been customized for Indian drive conditions, our roads, our heat, our vibrations. We take hundreds of these cells together, and we pack them inside a proprietary thermal management system. And then we get our battery management, BMS, firmware, software, all of it together on top of it. And we enclose it in what was India's, I think, the first die-cast aluminum casing in our industry. All of this together gives you an incredibly solid battery pack, which will really last for many, many, many years. But the real elevation for our batteries happened when we made them connected products. Giving them connectivity made them constant evolving, constant learning products in a way. And this learning has helped us build phenomenally powerful algorithms in the background. And that's the reason why Ather is one of those few brands which can actually allow you to fast charge every single day. We don't put any restrictions. We don't say every third or every fourth charge can be fast charge. Every other charge should be a slow charge. You can fast charge your Ather every day for the rest of its life. No restrictions required. These algorithms are also the primary reason why Ather's range prediction has been so accurate. Because what we've done is we've taken data back from all these 7-8 lakh batteries over the last, these are literally trillions and trillions of data points. We've taken them back and we've built one of the most comprehensive cell models in our industry ever, which goes back and is used to do range prediction across the entire fleet every day. So the wider the fleet, more accurate these features tend to get for us. Now, when the battery is new, life is easy, sab kuch badhiya hai. Battery's real performance plays out over multiple years, over 3, 5, 8 years in some cases. For example, our oldest batteries, Generation 1 customers, their batteries today in the field, which we sold in 2018, fast forward to 2026, those batteries are still at a phenomenal 82% state of health. Honestly, when we sold these batteries, we did not estimate it. It took us many years and a lot of data to be sure, that these batteries will get here. And obviously, our engineering hasn't stopped here. We pushed the envelope further on two very important things in a battery pack that you would care about: safety and life. Let's talk about what are the improvements that we have done to Ather batteries on both these axes. Let's start with safety first. 1 in 10,000 scooters in India every year, 1 in 10,000 two-wheelers in India every year will probably be involved in a very serious accident. The kind of accident that could look something like this. Maybe you rammed into a bus, maybe somebody rammed into you on a T-junction, something fairly large, significant, and dangerous sounding. Even in these cases, our batteries generally hold up quite well. And funnily, that's the challenge that we need to solve for. Even in these cases, our batteries will generally remain functional, they will generally remain safe, they will visually have almost no issues. So it's very easy to sort of continue using them and not have a problem. But it's impacts like these which can really cause a lot of issues much later. Micro cracks can form, which often happen with components like these, which are not visible to the naked eye. And they don't cause any damage that is distinguishable in the first few hours, days, weeks, or even months. And sometimes it can take as much as 6 months to really recognize the damage that accident caused to your battery pack. But by that time, everybody has moved on. You can't figure out that this damage is happening because of that one accident that you had last year. Insurance companies have moved on, right? Everything's too late. We wanted to solve this problem. We wanted to make sure that we are able to catch this issue much faster, which is where our first technology, which we are calling as BreathSense, really plays out. BreathSense is a mix of software and a lot of sensors that are coming together to help catch this failure, not in 6 months, not in 2 months, but in literally 24 hours. If you've been in an accident and if your battery's developed any kind of micro crack, any kind of small fissure, any kind of small damage, this new technology, which is largely driven by our data and a couple of sensors that we have added, is able to detect these failures super fast, ensuring that you and your batteries remain safe. Let's move to the second. By the way, this scooter was an actual scooter. Like, we didn't just break one of our scooters. This scooter was an actual scooter which was in an accident. This is how its batteries looked. So we actually couldn't figure out, that there's anything wrong. And Breathe Sense, because we had already started pilots by then, allowed us to catch that, there is a microscopic crack that has occurred, which no other technology could have figured out at that point. So proof that, this technology is already working. Let's move on to the other improvement on batteries. On life. First, a quick crash course on one of the major reasons why you lose realized range on your vehicle. When you take hundreds of cells together, at such a scale, cells will always have micro differences in manufacturing. No two cells will obviously be exactly the same. They can't be, it's impossible. Now, those differences are extremely minor, and they are practically indistinguishable for the first several thousand kilometers, maybe even for the first couple of years. But give it 5, 6, 7 years, give it 30, 40, 50, 60,000 kilometers, and those differences start playing out. How? One of the cells will become a bottleneck cell. This will be the cell that will be a bit weak and will struggle to keep up with the rest of the good cells in your battery pack. And when that happens, the rest of the cells will hit 100% when you charge them. This cell will become bottleneck and will stay at 60. Since other cells are at 100, you can't charge further. And when you start discharging this battery pack, everything else will be still full, but this cell will go to 0. This gap that you see, this is avoidable range loss. This is the issue that we need to solve while manufacturing EVs. It's called cell balancing. Already your current Athers have industry-leading technology to solve this issue, ensure that we catch up on this weak cell, we make sure we give extra help to this weak cell, and we ensure that all the cells work together so that over multiple charge-discharge cycles, we minimize differences between cells. Already our current technology is industry-leading, but the new hardware that our batteries are now shipping with has improved your cell balancing by not 10, 20%. We have improved cell balancing by a whopping 500%, 5x better cell balancing. What it means is, what used to take almost a day with current technology to, it would take us almost a day to work out these gaps between cells, now can happen in less than 4 hours. And the way that plays out, let's just get to the meat of it. The way that plays out is it means over thousands of charge-discharge cycles, the realized range on your battery pack will be now higher. Essentially, the life of your battery pack will be longer than what you expected. Our current generation battery packs were expected to last between 80,000 to 100,000 kilometers over by the time it hits 70% capacity, right? With this new balancing technology, we are expecting our new batteries to last not 80,000, 100,000, but almost 120,000 kilometers. This is an almost 25% improvement to your battery life over its lifetime. And this obviously allows us to push the horizons further. If life is better, then so can our warranty. Ather always had one of the better warranty terms in the industry. In 2018, we started with 3 years and 50,000 kilometers. In 2023, we upgraded that to 5 years and 60,000 kilometers. In 2024, we further went up to 8 years and 80,000 kilometers. And with this new balancing hardware, we are improving our life to 10 years and 100,000 kilometers. Thank you. And by the way, this will continue to come with the Ather promise of 70% SOH guarantee, 100% coverage on defects and failures, and idle state assurance, which has been the #1 feedback from the community, that you want to see that in our battery packs always. So we continue to maintain that even with 10 years, even with a 100,000 kilometer promise, right? Let's just see this new battery pack of Ather. calling them the Ather Bedrock batteries. They come with a 10-year warranty. And, thank you, and they're going live across our entire portfolio, 450, Rista, and what we are launching in the new EL platform also. In fact, we've already gone live, we didn't just tell you, and all vehicles manufactured this year have already shipped with Ather Bedrock batteries already. Well, some people are happy. Yeah. Awesome, thank you. I think we can move on. Let's go to other components. It's not just our batteries that are holding up incredibly well. We've designed all components on our vehicle to really, we've designed all components on our vehicle to hold up incredibly well. And our owners talk about this all the time. A lot of our Gen 1 customers are here, and they refuse to sell their Gen 1 Athers back to us. For the last 4 years, we've been running scheme after scheme ki bhai, please, hamara Gen 1 scooter wapas bech do. They refuse to sell it back to us because they always say that our Ather is still riding like, it was on day one. The vehicle is holding up incredibly well. You've known this, we've known this, and with what we are launching today, you will finally have a way of proving it. We've been now building vehicles for 8 years. We have almost 10 billion kilometers plus of data that's gotten together. Using the power of all that data, we are building a very large central database. We're getting all these disparate data points like, for example, component reliability, service history, wear and tear parts history, fleet history, riding behavior, your battery health data. We're taking all these data points. We are converting all these numbers into one simple number. This number, in fact, which is essentially a comprehensive health report of your Ather, and what we call as the Ather True Health. Right? This feature will go live on your mobile app. You will essentially be able to just click and see what is the life of your vehicles looking like at any point of time in your ownership journey after a couple of years. And this number is one of the first times, somebody's, at least the tool industry is coming out with a feature like this. And this number, obviously, we've simplified it to just one score, but the backup of this number are a lot of things. It's things like, for example, how is your motor doing? How is your dashboard doing? How is your charger doing? That's literally how you will see it on the mobile app. You will also now be able to see the SOH data of your battery pack with a scorecard there, right? How your battery is performing after years. Not just all the critical components, we are also going live with the health of your wear and tear components, like the brake pads and the belts, right? So you don't need to guess. Wow, people are so happy for this. This is personal pet peeve because even when I take my vehicle back to the service center and the guy says, "Iska brake pad replace karna padega," I'm almost wondering, did we not just replace it, right? Now you'll have a way of knowing it, and hopefully you will replace your brake pads and your belts on time. Right? But obviously, the bigger use of this is not servicing. The bigger use of this is oh, sorry, I forgot about one thing. Sorry. That number is not a random number. It's not a made-up number that I just put up on the screen there. This is an actual vehicle's number. And this is a very special vehicle. It's obviously a very good score, 4.5 out of 5. And when we saw this, we thought we'll put it up in front of everybody. This is not a recent vehicle. This is not a Rista. This is not a 450X. This is one of the oldest vehicles Ather has ever sold. This is a Generation 1 Ather 450, manufactured in 2018. In fact, it is this Ather, the third Ather ever sold, belonging to Ashwin Lal here, who's ridden 44,000 kilometers on his vehicle. We requested his vehicle back so we can run the scan on it. And when we did, the score popped out, and we were like, wow, we should really share this with the community because this is a terrific score. Ashwin, damn good job maintaining your vehicle. Yeah, so what can you use this score for? Let's talk about that. The biggest use case of this is what we believe is in resale. See, today the resale market is annoying as hell because this is what it boils down to. You try to sell your Ather to buy something else, hopefully upgrade into a Konarc today. This is the only two numbers that the market seems to care about. Kitte saal hue and kitte kilometer hue, right? And the rest of the conversation is this inanely stupid conversation that just annoys everybody because it's like, 4 year ho gaya bro, 20,000 kam kar do, 32,000 kilometers done, brake pads bhi purana hoga, battery bhi old ho gayi, right? Just like 50,000 rupees dunga main. It's not logical, it's not mathematical, it's not objective, it's just completely random. We wanted to solve this, and that's where your Ather True Health really helps, because it's not just these two numbers that you use in that conversation. You can respond to those questions with actual data now, right? How is the motor doing? How is the charger doing? How is the dashboard doing? They're all doing good. The company itself has published data on the mobile app to really help clarify that. बैटरी बहुत पुराना हो गया, 5-6 साल पुराना स्कूटर है, इसमें तो पक्का बैटरी रिप्लेस करना पड़ेगा. No, the battery report is fantastic. It's at 4.9 out of 5, right? Brake pads, belts, right? Somebody thinking brake pad तो पक्का change करना ही पड़ता है पुराना स्कूटर में, and possibly yes. In fact, if you ran this analysis on your mobile app, you will probably catch that your brakes need replacement, and you will probably get them replaced even before you turn up in the second-hand market to sell your vehicle, right? We believe the second-hand market, the resale market, is extremely broken. We believe it is stacked against you as a good driver. It is stacked against you as the owner of a very well-engineered machine. A lot of people have this perception. Electric का तो क्या ही resale होता है, right? Like electric में तो बहुत depreciation हो जाएगा. What we have been realizing over here is that electric vehicles are holding up their value far better than petrol vehicles, because there are just fewer parts that degrade, right? And all of your owners, you know this, right? You don't lose mileage over a period of time. Motor efficiency will practically forever be at peak performance. Batteries are lasting 10 years. There's so little else that can go wrong on an EV. This is our attempt at helping to land that message. In fact, personal thought, I believe more than resale, the biggest value of this is brag value. You know, in office, you know, you have been one of the earliest EV owners. A lot of people will always tell you, bro, EV खरीदा है तो 4 साल में डब्बा हो जाएगा, battery पक्का zero हो गई होगी, right? You get to respond back to them with these statistics on your mobile app. And for the resale side, we didn't just stop here. We figured if we have so much data, why not add another little bit data to it and make it really your end-to-end solution provider? So we started, you know, tracking where is the resale market today for different Athers. Use that data, and with that, on the mobile app, we will not just show you health score, we will also now show you the likely resale price, right? Thank you. This is estimated resale price, obviously, because we're not running a full-blown seconds channel yet. But the idea is, you are busy, you don't have a lot of time, somebody comes and lowballs you and says, sir, purane EV का तो मैं 40-50,000 देता हूँ. You get to respond back with it, right? You hopefully will get fair value of your product on the back of this kind of offering. So that's what we built. And by the way, this is not something that will go live next year. This actually goes live now. After the keynote today, just update your Ather mobile apps. And if you have a vehicle that has more than 3 years of life, then this feature is already live on your mobile app. You can see your health score and figure out, you know, what do you need to probably improve it, or be very glad that, you know, you're sitting on a stellar health report overall. So that's what the value of this feature is. No haggling, no guesswork, just the truth, and finally, live now. Great. Okay. Can we go to the next section? You know, everything that we've done, that we've spoken about till date, has focused on one single theme of ensuring that, you know, of answering one single question of how do we get non-EV owners, petrol buyers, to move to electric. Battery, charging, resale, one by one, all of these are answering the same question. And now we finally come to the heart of it, the product itself. Great, so a quick primer. I said at the start, today, 1 in 4 scooter buyers is buying electric. And that's a phenomenal amount of progress. We've almost doubled this number in the last 1 year. Our industry has really grown enormously well. But the other 3 are still not, right? When you go out and when you talk to these customers, you realize they're not saying no to electric. They're kind of saying not yet. We said at the start that the questions that people are asking have now changed, and that's true. When you talk to them, you realize that for them to go electric, their use cases, their need states are a little different. Maybe these are customers who are driving 90, 100 kilometers a day, or maybe they're doing, short trips to just drop their kids to office, school. Maybe they're carrying a lot of load on bad roads. Maybe, they're just strolling around on really phenomenal roads in tier 2 towns of India. There are so many need states that exist that no one product can solve for all of it, which is why last year we launched, or rather we announced, a complete new scooter platform to cater to all kind of such need states. We called this the EL platform. The platform was designed with safety, serviceability, and scale in mind. It was designed to be extremely flexible so that Ather could build multiple products out on it. We showcased it last year, and here we are today on the back of the EL platform. We are today coming to the launch of the first scooter on this platform, the one that you've already heard so much about on the internet. Why don't I just play the video? Ather Konarc. A scooter built for all, an electric that is truly effortless in how we built and designed it from scratch. Thank you, thank you. Please, if you can all take your seats back. We've got a long keynote. There are a lot of features in this product that we've got to launch. We'll come back to pictures shortly. When you're trying to build a scooter for all, it's a very high benchmark. Because now we've got to get all the fundamentals right? And when you're trying, and what is the most fundamental thing in a scooter? Well, the most fundamental thing out there is how the scooter rides, right? Building an effortless ride was the first starting point in how we wanted to build this scooter. The challenge is, how do you fix something that is not broken? I have to be honest, it's not like, we have unrideable scooters in our country. We have good scooters in our country. They ride really well. They're not a problem. The only way to offer you something more was to elevate the ride experience. And the way to elevate this was to basically build something, was to basically touch every part that meets the road, starting with the tire. Roughly about 2/3 of all two-wheeler buyers in India still buy a motorcycle. And a very important reason for so many of them to buy a motorcycle are big wheels. Big wheels allow you to go over all kind of terrains, all kind of roads. They are great for long distances. They give you a lot of comfort, and they give you a lot of confidence. And we wanted to bring that confidence to your ride on Konarc, which is why Konarc rides on big wheels in the front, 14-inch wheels right up in the front, giving you an enormous amount of confidence. Small wheels are fine. Most scooters ride on smaller wheels. 12-inch is great. Smaller wheels are good if all you're doing is, doing shorter routes, quick maneuvers, smaller rides in the city. But the minute you're on long roads, you're doing intercity rides, the minute you're going over really, really poor road quality, that's when the big wheel, the big 14-inch wheel really shines through. On a potholed road, a 14-inch wheel, and we ran an actual simulation, on a potholed road like this, the 14-inch front wheel of Konarc will roll like this. Notice how it is smoothing out all the curves incredibly well, because a bigger wheel will not fall into the potholes, it will glide over them. And this big front wheel is supported incredibly well by one of the longest rear suspensions ever put on a scooter in India. At 100 stroke length, this is an incredibly plush ride that you will get. In fact, coupled with that large front wheel and this great rear suspension, your ride will improve even further because the big tire will take on the worst of the ride, and the rear suspension will just smoothen out everything else, giving you hands down the most comfortable, the most effortless ride possible. And it's not just enough to design a good ride, it's also important how the vehicle handles itself, how the vehicle is set up. And that's where the length of the vehicle, the wheelbase, plays an important role. Konarc is designed with the longest wheelbase in our portfolio. In fact, one of the longest wheelbases for scooters in India at 1,352 What a long wheelbase really gives you is a lot of stability. It improves your ergonomics, it improves your riding posture. We've also tweaked the rake angle, which is the steering angle. This entire package comes together incredibly well. Between that big wheel, between the long suspension, between the larger wheelbase, you get an extremely planted and a very steady, stable ride on all surfaces. Effortless ride on your Konarc, but it's not just the ride that we've made effortless, it's also braking. Obviously, we've got to improve that also for a great effortless experience. And riding on our roads is always a complex game. There are cows, there are people who will walk in randomly, and before you know it, a rickshaw will come slam into you almost. You need an enormous amount of control and traction on these kind of roads to get that confidence that you need with this kind of a ride. We've been investing in braking technology for many years, and Konarc comes with front disc brakes and combined braking system as standard across all variants. But the bigger improvement is in our technology stack. I talked about this at the start. Between these two proprietary technologies of Ather Drive Controller and the Magic Braking algorithm, over the last several years, we've been adding feature after feature after feature that has improved your braking and your traction experience in your ride overall, from auto hold to skid control to magic twist. And it only made sense to continue pushing the technology arc of both these components, of both these modules. And we are very excited to launch our latest feature on this technology stack, what we are calling as AEBS, Advanced Electronic Braking System. What does AEBS do? Let me just walk you through that. AEBS does two things incredibly well. First, AEBS provides up to 20% higher peak braking force. It is able to use two parallel braking technologies, the foundation brakes, the mechanical brakes that a vehicle already has, paired with the electronic brakes using our magic braking algorithm. Between these two, it first increases the peak braking force in your vehicle, which basically means that your stopping distance will come down. But more importantly, it is increasing that peak braking force while ensuring that your rear wheels don't lock up. It gives you more control and stability, the confidence that you need to ride an effortless scooter. Let's just see this video to understand the performance of an AEBS on a Konarc with standard CBS scooters in both the petrol and the electric industry. On the same road, with the same driving conditions, with the same driver, how do all three of these brakes stop your vehicle? the difference is just incredibly large. This is not a 1, 2, 4, 5, 10% improvement. It's almost a 2x better than many of the scooters out in the market. I can say with a lot of confidence that ABS on Konarc will absolutely beat almost I think every CBS scooter in the market today. And this is complete, sorry. And this is completely indigenous technology that we have developed from grounds up here in India. And it shows because we developed it for Indian conditions for our markets. Unlike a traditional ABS system, ABS does not rely on physical actuators. Using purely the power of sensors and software, ABS is able to resist rear wheel lockup, improve braking force, which no other braking system is able to do, and reduce our overall stopping distance. We believe that this is the answer. This is one of the important parts, this is important answers for safety, brake safety for two-wheelers in India, and one that we believe in the coming years will go across the entire portfolio. But it'll first come on Konarc. Now, it's not just the rider who's going to have a comfortable drive. If you notice here, the pillion comfort is going to be incredible. First, we start with this beautiful padded grab handle. It's not an afterthought. It's extremely plush. It's very well integrated with the rear seat. But the real upgrade to pillion comfort comes with this beautiful adjustable backrest. Right? It's plush. It's curved. It's one of the tallest backrests of anything else out in the market. In fact, it doubles up almost as an armrest for people who sit sideways. Actually, let me just show you a video because that'll make the point better than any English I can use. You can tell that we've been trying this for a while. We came up with a backrest first with Rista that had a phenomenal response. So now we are introducing lounge back as what we believe is almost like a sofa-like experience for the pillion rider. Trust me on this. Try the lounge back if nothing else. It's amazingly high amount of comfort for a scooter on our roads. Moving on. Now we have made sure that your rides are incredible, they're very plush, they're very comfortable, your braking is very confident. Now how do we make sure that you don't run out of charge on all these rides? Coming to the next section, effortless charging. First, obviously, Konarc gets access to the wide network of fast chargers across the country, 6,000 of those, so that you don't get stranded. But what if you're going somewhere where there is still no Ather fast charger? Well, in that case, you will need portability. And we do have portable chargers today. Our current portfolio also has. The challenge with portable charging is that the charger looks something like this. These are bricks. Yes, they're well-designed bricks, and we've taken a lot of, I remember the design timeline, the design stage of Ather Duo, and how much time I have personally spent, on making micro decisions here. But the reality is they still take up a lot of space in your boot. We wanted to make sure that in all the rides on your Konarc, your boot space remains free, which is why Konarc ships with a completely new architecture of onboard charging. This uses... I think these are the people who really ride a lot. Using our proprietary Ather Charge Drive Controller technology, AC/DC, Konarc comes with a 450-watt onboard charger so that your portable charger experience does not look like this, but looks something like this, right? Now, let me scare you a little bit. One of the reasons it didn't make a lot of sense to go to onboard charging all these years is because onboard charging is actually quite restrictive. See, on your Rista or 450 today, you buy a 450-watt charger, and tomorrow if you want to upgrade to 750-watt charger, you can, right? It's easy. You just go buy a 750-watt charger. But on a fixed charging system, like an onboard charger, you're kind of stuck. If Konarc ships with a 450-watt charger, you are stuck with a 450-watt charger. How do you upgrade this? Well, this is the place where Konarc has really gotten your back. Introducing combined charging. What combined charging really does, it uses a very clever thing in our charging protocol, in the Lex protocol. Imagine you have this 450-watt charger on board. What if you could just buy another 450-watt charger anytime you wanted in your ownership journey? Maybe 3 years later, you decide that, you know what, you are riding a lot, and this 4 or 5 hour charging time is not good enough. You want to upgrade that to a much shorter time. What if you could just buy another 450-watt charger, which is a portable charger, and get a 900-watt outcome, right? That's exactly what combined charging enables. It actually took me a while to get my head around it. Imagine you got a phone charger, 30 watts, and you could just buy another 30 watts charger, and you get 60-watt output. But that's exactly what's happening. Enormous flexibility, so you're never stranded on only one charging speed. You can upgrade your charging speed on the Konarc because of the EL platform architecture at any point. In fact, why 450-watt? Tomorrow, if you want to have fast charging at home, buy a 900-watt portable charger and get a 1350-watt overall charging output, right? So that's going live with Konarc. Both public charging and combined charging completely taken care of. A lot of scenarios thought through. But honestly, a lot of this may have been an exercise in futility because Konarc is also our first product. Konarc is the product to get the longest range in our portfolio with a range going all the way up to 200 kilometers. In fact, Konarc will get 4 range options, starting from 100, 125, 160, and 200 kilometers. Pick a number which matches your weekly requirements and charge maybe as little as just once a week and have an extremely effortless charging experience also. Yeah. Great. I think we can go next to the next big ownership question. I think we've taken a lot of care about what you will think about when you're buying the vehicle, but how do we improve even your service experience? We want to do the same thing, not a lot of new words. We want to make sure your service experience also is effortless. And the way we will make your service experience effortless is by doing 2 important things. Ensure that you need to get your vehicle serviced fewer number of times. And when you do service your vehicle, your servicing happens much faster. On a typical scooter, servicing intervals are about 1 in 5,000 kilometers. On a Konarc, that is 1 in 10,000 kilometers, which means, thank you, which means for an average customer, this is servicing once in a year or maybe even less than, maybe more than once in a year. You probably only need to service it maybe like once in every 15 to 18 months. The second thing that we have done is really designed the vehicle to need far lesser servicing. Because it was a complete new architecture, we were able to reduce the number of checkpoints on the vehicle quite dramatically. Not only were we able to reduce the number of checkpoints, we were also able to design it for assembly. Because we designed it for easy access, particularly during assembly, that benefit translates into servicing also. It's easy to service also. So servicing times are almost half of that of a typical vehicle today. But it's too complex to get into more technical detail, so we thought we'll just have more fun, right? Instead of more numbers and more statistics, why don't we just run an F1-style pit stop on the stage live to see how much time does it take to disassemble and then assemble back the entire motor and transmission assembly, right?
Check.
So team is already here.
Check.
Dhruva, how set are we?
Check. So Tarun, can you tell us quickly, in your experience, how long does it take for an engine scooter to do this?
Okay, so something like this, something like replacing an engine and a transmission assembly on a typical petrol scooter, out to take you, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. Even heck, on our existing products, it'll take you a few hours easy.
Yeah, exactly.
So we are definitely trying something super ambitious. We want to replace the same components, which is the motor and the transmission on your Konarc live on stage, and we want to make sure that we do it before it's lunchtime.
Yeah.
Right? So can I call it go in a few seconds? Tell me.
All set.
Right?
All set,
By the way,
folks.
this is our service team from
Yeah.
Ather Service Engineering. So the team is all prepped up for it.
Okay.
On my mark, guys. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, so I'll just walk you through the sequence. So what essentially we've done is we've raised the
And the
whole
wheel pops
platform
out.
onto the jack so that the vehicle is stable. first thing we do is we turn the key off, make sure the vehicle is in shutdown state. Then we make sure the replacement motor and gearbox assembly are already lined up. So once all the parts are there, what we do is we make sure all the tools we require for the job are there. We know the standard operating procedures so that we don't fumble while we're on the job, right? So this is a specialized crew, as you can see, 4-member crew. So first, the body panels come off, the seat and the storage box assembly.
And it's out. Motor and the transmission's already disassembled.
Can you even believe
in
that?
37 seconds, folks.
Yeah.
Right.
So
hold on, before we start the assembly again. Let me just.
Okay.
Guys, just wait.
Let's
Just wait for a second. Right?
Yeah.
It took it just 37 seconds for our team. Obviously, a very special team to do it. But in 37 seconds, the wheel popped out, the brakes popped out, and the motor and the transmission assembly is also out. And may I just call out, this is a production spec vehicle. We did not bring it here, with like different nuts, different bolts, a special situation, right? But it's not just good enough to, vanish something. You also have to bring it back. And that's generally the more complicated part. They could disassemble the entire scooter, the entire motor, transmission, brake pad, wheel assembly in 37 seconds. Obviously, it'll take a much longer time to assemble it all back. Dhruva, are we good to go?
Yeah.
Dhruva will run live commentary when this happens. On my mic, mark, folks. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so right now what we're doing is the assembly bit. So all the hardware connections are getting assembled. So there are 5 M10 fasteners which go in. So assembly sequence is top right, top left, bottom left. And the important thing is the torques are preset on the guns. So once it's done, we do go through a random sequencing quality check so that all the sequence is followed and all the torque checks are also followed. So the person on top you can see is connecting the terminal block for the power harness connections. So those are 3 M5 fasteners that he's putting on. So once that's done, the torque sequence is again sequential, and then 5 Nm torque on all the fasteners. So once that is done, the shock bottom bolt is going on. So the third person there you can see is tightening the brakes, which is required for you to put the wheel assembly on in order to torque the rear wheel M14 flange nut to 90 Nm spec. Okay. So I guess vehicle's almost ready. So I think it's yeah. So the final torque sequence is
motors in, transmissions in, brake pads in, and the wheels popping back.
Wheel assembly is back in.
They are also doing all the QC check, folks.
Yeah.
Literally following all the steps here.
Okay. So as you can see, the wheel axle nut is in. So the brakes are locked.
Done. The vehicle's assembled back in 1 minute 33 seconds.
So,
in fact, why don't we just ride the scooter back to be really sure that all of this is truly done. Thank you, Dhruva. Thank you, team. Incredible demonstration. And may I just, call out, they are not trained F1 technicians, right? There are humble in-house team, who were asked to do this just a few days ago because we thought it would be more fun to do a demo like this rather than make a lot of more claims and complicated announcements. You saw how much time it took. What would take hours literally popped out in 38 seconds and popped back in 1 minute 33 seconds. Obviously, you're not going to have a trained team like this in every service center, but just goes on to show how much of a leap we have taken with this architecture, how much of a massive improvement we have seen. And this benefit will play out to our customers, to our owners of Konarc in the coming years, as the service experience just becomes so much simpler, so much easier. And that's the Yale platform. We've cracked a lot with this platform. In fact, generally building a new platform, building a new product is a lot of compromises, right? You have to do a lot of trade-offs. For example, you make the wheel larger and you will lose storage space. You make the suspension longer, you will again lose storage space and your seat might become bigger. You make the battery pack really large, like we have done here with 200 kilometers of range, and your vehicle will just look awkward and you will likely increase your floorboard height or lose ground clearance. we've been somehow magically, amazingly able to do all of it together. And that's actually the power of this platform. It's not just one or two things. Typically, a mainstream product like what we have tried to do here will do one, two things well. Either it'll be very comfortable, or it'll have a lot of range, or it will probably it'll probably be very it'll have large wheels. It might have more power. The power of Konarc is that it's been able to do all of this together on the same platform, on the same product. It's very, very rare to get all of this together right. And the reason that has happened is because of 100, maybe hundreds of micro decisions that our team has taken over the years to get this product to such a level of perfection. And in the middle of doing all this engineering, all this complicated workflow, our teams also found time to do one tiny little thing right this time. One feature that our teams have been asking us for years now, our customers have been asking us for years now, and we've always had to say no because there was just no way to fit it in the old platforms. But finally, we got it right with EL and with Konarc. Konarc now with a center stand. Right. I know for a lot of people, they're like, what is so exciting about a center stand? But we have so many owners, my parents included, who really will see the value of this across all cities in India. So that's all, folks. An enormously effortless product designed from the ground up, great ride experience, great braking experience, lot of comfort for the rider and the pillion, great charging experience. For the first time, we've really cracked onboard charging really right, designed for serviceability. That's the Konarc for you. But that's not where it all ends. This is an Ather product, so that's where the magic really begins. We haven't just designed this product with all the fundamentals done really right. We've also gone to great lengths to make sure that this product also ships with a slew of truly magical experiences like you've come to expect from the Ather brand always. The first thing that we've gotten, the new thing that we're introducing with Konarc, Konarc comes with the option of keyless. Right? We call it the magic key, this key fob here. It's not just any key fob. See, if you only had to do a key fob, if you only had to do a keyless experience, we would have just called it a spec. We would have just said Konarc comes with a keyless. Done, right? But we saw an opportunity. We saw an opportunity in being able to rethink how keyless works, how it could work in a two-wheeler environment. When your hands are full, when you've got all these different worries about what are the keys in your pocket, what if it could fall, we have to think through all of it. And that's what we have done. So why don't we first start with some of it? This is the magic key here. First time, it's got two buttons. I'm going to use the top button to, first just see where my scooter is. There it is, right? And the cool thing is going to be now, this point onwards, I'm not going to touch the magic key at all. I don't need to press the top button also, by the way. So I'm just going to safely slide it here in my pocket, right? Now, let's walk up to the scooter, right? Let's see how my experience is going to be. I've fogged here. I'm not going to do anything, right? No need to take the magic key out. No need to press a button on it. No need to press a button on the vehicle. No need to fiddle around with anything. We've designed what is a mind-blowingly seamless experience. Literally, just sit on the scooter and do whatever you would when you sit on a scooter. For example, why don't we just lift the side stand? Smart wake. The vehicle recognizes that you've sat on the product, that you sat on a Konarc with the magic key in your pocket. You literally don't need to do anything else. Just swing the side stand or tap the brake, and the vehicle's gone live. Not only has it gone live, yes, it's fully live now, right? How do we close the scooter? Amazingly easy. Literally, don't do anything. You've stopped the vehicle, right? Side stand on. Let's just walk out. Hold on, hold on, hold on. And it turns itself off. It figures out that you walked far away from the vehicle, that it can turn itself off. In fact, not only has it turned itself off, why don't we see this? The handlebar. Handlebar's locked too, right? You literally just turn the handlebar on one side, just walk away from the scooter, and you are done, right? And extremely seamless experience with the magic key for you all. May I just request our folks to just go back so that everybody can see, right? Thank you, folks. Please, please. Let's just allow everybody a good viewing experience. Now, the first time I demoed this to my parents, obviously they're my parents, so they're like, "Arey, wow, very good technology." But immediately they were like, so much concern, so many problems, so much risk. Isn't a physical key just easier, safer, less likely to have a problem? So we thought deeply about it. And obviously, our teams had already thought deeply about it. And I want to now demonstrate why, obviously, you can have a Konarc with a physical key, but why the upgrade to the magic key is just so much better. How in almost any scenario that you can think of, the magic key will be better than having a physical key. Let us start with the first worry that a lot of people have. Wow, looks like an expensive magic key. What if I accidentally drop it, right? I have really baggy pants, and sometimes keys just drop off. What will happen then? Well, if you drop your physical keys, you are kind of screwed. But if you drop your magic key, the beautiful thing that will happen is your vehicle will actually detect that. You will get a flashing warning on your dashboard that your magic key is not on you. So you can go back. Its last known location is also saved. So you can actually go back, find the key. You can't do that with a physical key, right? Let's think about a second scenario. What if I run out of charge, right? It's another electronic thing. The magic key can run out of charge after a few years. What will happen then? Amazingly, not a lot. All you need to do is go to the scooter, click on use key fob. That will work without even if magic key does not have charge in it. Click there, and then take your magic key, just tap it here. Tap it below the seat once. Konarc will charge up your magic key just about enough to make sure that the scooter starts off. You will not be stranded. Right? Hold on, it'll keep getting better. It'll keep getting better. Another worry. But what if I just lose my key? What do I do then? Well, imagine losing a physical key. That's not a lot of fun. Let's say you are in office, you've dropped your key somewhere, you call up back home, hey, listen, can you get me a backup key? वो अलमारी में top drawer में वो एक packet में है. Only to discover when the top pack is found that there are no keys in it. There were no backup keys, right, ever. And you're truly stranded. Then you get a locksmith in. With a Konarc and with a magic key, that experience is so much better because even if you've lost the key, you will not be stranded. Just go back to the same thing, tap the scooter, it'll give you this option, use Ather app, and now you can just go onto the app, it'll give you a code, enter that code on your dashboard, and your scooter will start, right? But, what if, Tarun, I live in I park in basement 3 of my godforsaken office, and we had no signal in this basement, right? This feature will not work. Amazingly, this feature does not need connectivity. You don't need Wi-Fi, you don't need a carrier signal. It will work even without connectivity. So you will truly never be stranded. One possible last worry. With phone payments becoming very popular, a lot of people now have concerns that, they will have their phone in their pocket, somebody will come with that tap machine, and boom, they will steal their money. And that worry kind of spills over into your experience with a Konarc. You saw me, show you such a beautiful experience. You just walk up the scooter, it'll start, it'll detect. What if I'm, at a sabji mandi? I don't know, maybe I'm buying some vegetables. I have the magic key here with me. Can you start the scooter? No, he can't start the scooter. What if I move closer? Nope, still can't start the scooter. Try lifting the side stand off. Yep, still can't start it. What if I move very close? Yes, the scooter start, but can you start the scooter? Yep, the motor won't turn on, right? Honestly, if at this distance somebody has stolen your scooter, it's really on you at this point, by the way, okay? But they still will not be able to. The scooter still refuses to start because, thank you, not a very good attempt, thank you, leave it. Yeah. We've designed Konarc to make sure that literally the scooter will only start if you are sitting on the scooter with the key in your pocket or in the front dock here. And now, so extremely well thought through, extremely secure experience. You will not have a problem riding Konarc. You will not have any issues with Magic Key. Your experience will truly elevate. Like this is one of those experiences that we come up with once in a while that we can truly call a real elevation on your regular riding experience. But that's not all that the Magic Key does. There are two buttons. There are two buttons on your Magic Key. The first one was Find My Scooter. There is another button here. Let's see what this does. Introducing Auto Pop. I don't have to explain. This feature is very obvious what it does. The seat opens up on its own. Just press that button. It stays open for as long as you want. Drop your stuff, close the switch, close the seat, back. Now, but the thing is, even this is not your ideal flow, right? What does your life generally look like getting to your scooter every day? Thank you. Right? It looks something like this, right? When you're going to your parking lot, you're going with everything. You've got files, you've got your laptop bag, you've got a lunchbox, so on and forth. Now, you don't have the ability to put your hand in, get the Magic Key out, press the damn button, right? It won't work. How do we solve it? We thought through that experience also. Just walk up to the scooter and do this. There's a very nice, snugly designed button right here below the seat. You just tap that button, and the thing opens. But take my advice, never tap it. Just do this. It's so cool. It always will work. And it'll always, shock people when that happens. So, thank you, folks. That's all the stuff that we have with Magic Key. A lot of stuff it can do, a lot of great experiences it has. Oh, you will need the key fob. Sorry. One sec. Here. Thank you. But there's one more magic experience that we designed this vehicle with that we wanted to talk about. Imagine the two most frustrating minutes that you have with your scooter. Oh, sorry, before you go, we have a beautiful picture, a beautiful ad for Autopop. Folks, can we just play that? I'll talk about other features later. Thank you. Now, one more really cool experience that we've designed with Konarc. Imagine the two most frustrating minutes in your two-wheeler riding experience every day. That's a time when you're trying to park the vehicle. Why don't we just play this video? I'll just voice over it. It's super hard because it's a narrow spot. You got to pull the scooter back. You got to really flex your muscles. Now you got to push it back in. Yes, you can use reverse on your Ather, but just how many times will you keep doing that, right? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It is quite tiring. You truly feel the weight of the scooter in a situation like this. And despite your best attempts, you'll end up something like this, right? So we wanted to solve this problem. So we started building a feature for it. We called it Airwalk. The thing is, in the build-up to this launch here today, this name leaked out. And a lot of influencers on Instagram started having a lot of fun with it. You know, they started imagining a lot of crazy things this feature can do. You know, they started thinking, using this feature is, like basically taking your dog out for a stroll. Vikram, can you? Yeah, thanks. So first, just to correct, walking with Airwalk is exactly as it advertises, right? It's super easy to walk with the scooter. Thank you. Why don't we push it back, right? Let's try this. Oh, it's actually super easy in the rear. Right. What is happening there is that the scooter is figuring out, using all the sensors that it has, that you're trying to move the vehicle, and the sensors take on, the motor starts assisting your attempt to move the vehicle, your attempt to drag the vehicle, and it provides just enough nice, subtle nudge, just enough nice, subtle push to make the entire experience, that what you saw in the parking, that entire thing, extremely seamless. You will truly not feel the weight of Konarc. In fact, if you were to just use it using Airwalk, I can bet most of you will not be able to guess what is the weight of this product, because Airwalk just makes the entire riding experience, the entire moving experience, so much lighter, so much more seamless. As we can see in this Sabji shopping video here.
अरे सुनिए, जरा इधर आइए. रुको रुको. पीछे लो. टमाटर कैसे दिए?
35 रुपए किलो.
40 रुपए किलो.
आपने
30 रुपए किलो मैम.
आगे लो, पीछे लो, आगे लो. 1 किलो दे दो. आलू
30 रुपए.
पीछे लो, और पीछे ले लो. 2 किलो दे दो. भिंडी
आगे देख लो.
1 किलो दे दो.
चले.
चलो.
मैडम जी, धनिया. अब चले.
चलो.
Thank you. So that's most of the magical experiences that we've built on this vehicle. But there is one last tiny thing. One thing that I've been always against on building on an Ather, one thing that I have argued against incessantly, I don't know for how many years, since pretty much we started the company, it's about how the vehicle is built. Folks, can you get that tweet? Yeah, this tweet is not going to age well for me. So many years ago, I have publicly called out that metal body scooters don't make sense. Metal body scooters are unnecessary. I went ahead and I actually called out that metal bodies are useless. It was a very strong claim, obviously. But here we are today. I still believe that you don't need a metal body. Can we get thanks. Yeah. So my team really had a lot of fun with this. They printed this tweet out for me, because I still do believe that you don't need a metal body scooter. But when we started talking to more customers, we realized that for a lot of people, metal body is not just about the functionality. It conveys a sense of confidence. It conveys a sense of familiarity in the product. So I may feel that you don't need it, but it does look like that you want it. So here you have it. Konarc with a metal body now. Thank you. That's all, folks. I think we are at the end of the keynote today. You saw how we've designed the product for everyone, for every use case, a truly grounds-up product. And one obviously important detail of this product, this is the first product at Ather that will start at a price point of 99,999. It'll continue to have It'll continue to have two variants, the S line and the Z line. And the S line will come with 4 range variants. The Z line will come with 2 range variants. And deliveries are starting as early as 21st September for S line variants, right? And pre-orders are already open for all Konarc variants. Sorry, for all S variants. That's it. Can we get the scooters on stage, folks? Can I ask Swapnil to join us on stage?
Tarun and Swapnil, for revealing the Ather Konarc and sharing your thoughts about the electric future. But yes, I'm sure you all are excited to experience and explore Ather and the magical ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, get your hands on the arcade games, experience the magic of engineering, Ather Stunt Show, and explore the off-roading. Of course, the off-roading on the Ather 450 and the dirt track, or test out the Infinite Cruise, or just get up close with the minds behind the engineering. Yes, all this right here at the Ather Community Day 2026. Also, if you're hungry and want to relish your taste buds, ladies and gentlemen, the lunch counters will remain open starting 12:30 p.m. through 3 p.m. Please feel comfortable and explore this space all around. Of course, apart from that, do click a lot of pictures and, of course, share it on your social handles to stand a chance to walk away with Google Pixel 11s.